Leiden Frank Baum was born on May 15, 1856 in Chittenango, New York. He was the fifth child out of 9 of Benjamin and Cynthia Baum. He disliked his first name, preferring to be called Frank, his middle name. Due to his poor health and shy demeanor, a young Baum was isolated from the world, seeking solace in his father's library, reading fairy tales and British literature. His favorite author was Charles Dickens. Due to his creative, flighty nature, Baum was sent to Peekskill Military School upon the age of 12. Baum only survived 2 years at the school as the physical labor took a toll to his health. Upon noticing his son's interest in one, Baum's father purchased him a small printing press, which Baum used to create newspapers by the age of 15. The Roselawn Journal was named after the Baum's estate and included news and editorials. Later, the Empire and the Poultry Record would be published by Baum. Baum moved to New York City at the age of 25 and became manager of opera houses owned by his father. He soon wrote his first play, The Maid of Iran, which he acted in. While on a break from touring with the troupe for Maid of Iran, which was a surprising hit, Baum courted Maud Gage, whose mother, Matilda J. Gage, was a women's rights activist and opposed the relationship. Frank and Maud married in November 1882, and together they toured with the theater troupe until the following year when Maud became pregnant. Together they had 4 sons. Maud would provide her sons the strict discipline that their father was too gentle and too kind to inflict himself. Baum returned to work for his father's oil company, then moved to the Dakota Territory, where he worked as a shopkeeper and editor to provide for his growing family. Both jobs failed financially, causing Baum to begin to write down stories he told to his sons, based on Matilda's advice. In 1897, Baum's first book was published, Mother Goose in Prose. It became a huge success, leading to a follow-up book, Father Goose, His Story, being published 2 years later. Finally possessing success and critical acclaim, Baum collaborated with W. W. Denslow to create The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Baum sought to create a modernized fairy tale, one that would please a child, not horrify them as the Grimm brothers preferred to do. He wanted his fantasies to be diverse from European tradition, recognizing the importance of technology and social concepts. Despite his intention to create a new genre, Baum's stories still involved traditional fairy tale elements such as witches and talking animals. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was a massive success and allowed Baum to continue writing full-time. Baum desired to expand into the film industry, creating a radio play for Oz. However, the high production costs caused him to fall into debt. Baum used pseudonyms to publish books of different genres, to experiment with new styles, or to make extra money to aid his debt. Under the pseudonym Edith Van Dyne, Baum published 24 books for girls, and under Floyd Akers he published 6 books for boys. Under the pseudonym Schuyler Stoughton, he wrote The Fate of the Clown and The Daughter of Destiny. Hoping that the climate would aid Baum's deteriorating health and finance problems, the family moved to Hollywood, California in a manor known as Ozcott. Baum published 14 sequels to The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, most of which were created to alleviate his bankruptcy, which occurred June 1911. Baum spent his days at Ozcott producing stories, gardening, and answering letters from awestruck children.
I have learned to regard fame as a will-o-wisp, which when caught is not a possession, but to please a child is a sweet and lovely thing that warms one's heart and brings its own reward.
Baum wanted children to learn that American values of integrity, self-reliance, candor, and courage would allow them to overcome any obstacles in life. Though his intention was to entertain children with American values, many have analyzed and searched his books for deeper meanings, believing the books to be linked to the populism movement. Many believe that The Wizard of Oz contains subjects based upon populist beliefs, such as the farmers being represented as the brainless scarecrow, the politicians being represented as the cowardly lion, and the industry being represented as the heartless tin man. Populism was the movement organized in support of the philosophy supporting the rights of the people against the privileged elite. It promoted the interest of the common people. Henry M. Littlefield wrote The Wizard of Oz, Parable of Populism, believing that Baum was a reform-minded Democrat who supported William Jennings Bryan's pro-silver candidacy and wrote the book as a parable of the populace, an allegory to their failed efforts to reform the nation. Littlefield drew on the fact that during Baum's experience as an editor in South Dakota, he had written of current events which occurred during the time of the populism formation in the late 1890s. Historians, in agreement with Littlefield's theory, stated that The Wizard of Oz was a sophisticated commentary on the political and economic debates of the populist era, as well as being considered a classic parable in the Silver Crusade. Due to his failing health, Baum underwent a gallbladder operation which he never fully recovered from. He died on May 16, 1919 in Hollywood, California. His final words were, "Now we can cross the shifting sands." After his death, Baum's family gave the publishers permission to continue the beloved Oz series. The honor went to Ruth Plumley Thompson and eventually his great-grandson Roger.